Folks, I am really excited today because we are doing a store tour at a very legendary game store with a very legendary individual. We're here in Fort Walton Beach, Florida at RadJunk. And I'm here with Sam from RadJunk.
What's up, guys?
And we're going to do a tour of this awesome store. Now, I know you guys have seen this store in a lot of our videos, but we're going to put the RetroWolf spin on it. Show us around. Tell me what all we're looking at in here, because there's a lot to see and a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff everywhere. I guess we can start with the Fix-A-Felix game.
Yeah.
We like to have stuff for people to play, especially while they're waiting for their friends to look for games, and maybe they're not so into it. But we traded some NES games for this. A guy was, he was moving to Hawaii or something. He was like, I obviously can't take this, so
right.
you wanna trade me something? So
now, is this like an original?
No.
Okay.
So this is basically just Rampage reskinned.
Okay. Gotcha.
In a Nintendo cabinet that somebody made.
All right. So tell me about this Xbox kiosk.
So this I actually got from our buddy Greg, which...
Oh, yeah, Greg.
You know Greg.
I do, yeah. Greg's an awesome dude.
He's great. He was a manager at GameStop.
Okay.
So he had this in his garage for years and years, and again, traded NES games for it. NES games are the gold currency here.
Yeah,
apparently.
Absolutely. Now, as I was doing some B-roll yesterday, I noticed a few interesting things like this guy right here. So obviously this is 3D printed, but it looks hand painted.
Yeah. So there was a guy in Tampa. Joe picked these up when he was down there at a trade event. So he got the Link mask, and then there's also up here this Majora's mask.
Oh yeah.
Made by the same guy, and he
Nice.
3D printed them and like hand painted them. He does a lot of art. I don't remember his name, but
Yeah.
he makes some really cool stuff.
I gotta hear the story of why Mario is holding a naked baby doll over here, because that...
So I don't even know why. I came in the store one day and I didn't even notice it, and I think I was putting new cords on the shelf or something, and I look up and he's just holding the baby, and I was like, who left their baby here? Like, why?
Wow.
So I thought it was so funny, and it caught me off guard so much that I just left it.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, now it's a staple of the store.
He lives here.
Do you ever see any like customer reactions when they see that?
Yeah, sometimes people are like, this place is so
Why?
weird. Like, I don't know.
Why? Where did this dude come from? That is a big ass standee.
A friend of ours, a friend who also worked at GameStop a long time ago, took it after they were going to throw it away, and it sat in a shed for a long time. He's like, hey, I've got this. Do you want it? I'm like, yes, I absolutely do.
So tell me about plushies, because a lot of game stores that I do these tours of carry plushies, and some tell me that they just fly off the shelves. Is that the case for you too, or
not really?
Not really.
They sell, and a lot around Christmas time is kind of why there's some gaps here,
Yeah.
because I've actually got a shipment of them coming today. We sell them here and there, but that's why it's a small section, not a main focus.
Right.
Just because. I don't know. That's not really what people are looking for here.
Yeah, we have a beautiful wall of TVs here.
My pride and joy here, like.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So we hoard these TVs year round for Really Rad Weekend, because we set up the big retro room and put all of these in there. But when they're not there, they are here for people to play. This one.
And
here.
that is stupidly rare and expensive,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. So this is an NES test station. They used it, I guess, in the Nintendo repair centers to test all the stuff. So you've got, you can test your AV cables, your power cords, and it gives you like an indicator on the screen of like whether it works or not. You can test your carts, anything on an NES that you would need to test. And then we've got the Super Nintendo attachment here as well.
Nice.
Probably one of the coolest things that I own.
Yeah, because when are you ever going to run across another one of these again?
No.
They're just insanely rare. This thing is beautiful. Where did you guys get this?
Also got that at Really Rad Weekend. We got that from Woodman.
Oh, from Travis. Okay,
From
awesome.
Travis.
Yeah.
He had a couple of them that were brand new, like never used, like still flat pack folded, and Joe ended up buying that from him because he loves Star Fox. That was another thing that like Travis had some in Arkansas, and Joe was like, "Please save me one. I don't want to drive this back to Florida, but like when you come, please."
And then we have the biggest Charmander I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that was a Facebook Marketplace find.
Nice.
They have the Charmander and the giant Pikachu that's in the window for like $30 for both.
That's a steal.
And Joe ended up messaging him, and he was like, "How about you just trade me some like passes to Rad Bar for these?"
Oh.
And
Hey.
we're like, "Yeah, bet, done."
And then we've got a couple more rare pieces here.
Yeah, just 2 NES TVs, casual.
Not 1, but 2. That's wild.
So this one has a story. It was before we opened the store. This was, I guess, 9 years ago. We went to Retropalooza in Texas, and Joe had this Wii U dev kit, and there was when the Wii U was still current. A buddy of ours worked at a pawn shop and was like, "Hey, we got this thing that says confidential property of Nintendo on it. Like, do you want it?" Joe was like, yeah, I guess. So we brought this Wii U dev kit to Retropalooza, and a guy had this NES TV and some games on his table, and he was like, "Why don't you trade me that dev kit for my whole table?" We were like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's how we ended up with this one, and I kind of don't ever want to get rid of it. Just
Yeah, I don't blame you.
that.
So now we get to some of the games. So you got, so this is the Xbox section here, right?
Right.
You got a decent selection of Xbox and Xbox 360 games. Now, how well does Xbox 360 do for you? Because Xbox 360 seems to be hot right now.
Yeah, we sell a lot of 360 stuff. Like, we get in a lot of it, but we sell a lot of it. People are just, I think it's that era, and the games are so cheap right now that people are like, they just want it.
A lot of them are cheap, but then you have these random games that are just skyrocketing in price. Now, this section is beautiful. You've got a ton of PS3, PS2, PS1, PS4, like a killer selection.
Yeah.
So, PlayStation, how well does that do in
Do
comparison?
really well with PlayStation.
Yeah.
So PS2 especially, like I think PS2 of the like not Nintendo stuff, because obviously Nintendo is the top seller of anything, but like outside of that, PS2 is it. And I mean PS2 even comes close to like, cause I think like N64 is my best overall seller, but PS2 is like a close second.
Probably the biggest PSP selection I've ever seen, including
Half of it's movies.
like a ton of the PSP UMD movies.
Yeah, it's like a blockbuster in here for PSP.
Oh, a bunch
This
of loose.
also full of UMDs, so you know we got.
Do people buy the loose UMDs?
Yeah, I sell a ton of them.
Nice.
And, you know, we do like a buy 4 get 1 free deal on these, just to try and move them. But yeah, we did pretty well with those.
It's always good to see Sega Master System games. Sega Master System is a underrated console, underappreciated here in the U.S. A lot of great games. This is pretty cool. I like this little rotating magazine holder here.
A buddy of ours gave this to us. He collects Resident Evil stuff.
Nice.
Which, you know, I don't know if you got that vibe from that.
Just a little.
But he was like, yeah, you know, I had all my stuff in it, but I don't have room for it. So do you want it? Yeah.
Yeah,
So I just put all the Nintendo powers in there.
Yeah, it's a cool way to display that inventory for sure.
It's
I like
a lot
it.
easier to look through than that shelf sometimes.
Yeah, it is. It is. So I feel like Wii's kind of hot right now.
I sell so much Wii stuff.
Yeah.
And even like the shovelware, not great games, it doesn't matter. Like I sell Wii. Like over Christmas, we nearly sold out of Wii consoles.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
Last Christmas we did.
Wow.
Yeah, I sell Wii like insane.
Now, this thing right here is freaking awesome. So take a look at that beauty. Fantastic piece of art. And one of your employees did this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kaylin did this.
Yeah.
It's the best use for a Wii Fit board.
Coming around here, Xbox One. So I like to ask game stores this, and some people get mad in the comments when I ask this for some reason. Do people actually buy these Xbox One games physically?
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not as much.
I'm not nearly as much as PS4.
PS4, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, notice I have way more of these than I have a PS4. They do buy them. Just, I mean, with Game Pass, it's like it's tough. But I do get a lot of people who like, you know, they don't want to mess with that. They don't want to do a subscription, or they want to like own the games. So I do sell them.
Yeah. So you were saying earlier that the Nintendo 64 does really well for you, huh?
Yeah, I sell 64 like crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Is 64 like getting popular to collect for again randomly? That's
It
weird.
goes in waves.
Goes
Like
in waves, yeah.
like right now, it's like what everybody that comes in here wants. Worse than GameCube right now. Like 64
really?
is.
Whoa.
I get a lot of it, but like it does not stay.
Yeah. Folks, I hope that you are enjoying today's game store tour. I want to take a quick moment to show you a really cool feature that you can do with the Goodiez app. You can use it to check price charting prices. So we're going to put some of Sam's prices at the RadJunk to the test, and we're going to check a couple of games that you're going to see me pick up later in the video on the Goodiez app to compare them to price charting. So let me show you how it's done. All right, when you open the Goodiez app, the first thing you are going to want to do is click the search bar and switch to title search. Now, there are two different ways that you can do this. The first way is to simply type in the title of the game. So, A Plague Tale Innocence. And I paid $30 for this copy, so let's do a quick search for that. And we are looking for the PS5 copy, and it's showing price charting complete in box at around $24. But you got to remember that that's taking eBay sold prices, so that doesn't factor into consideration some of the tax and shipping in some cases. So even though I paid a little bit over what price charting showed, I'm still happy because the copy I got is in pretty good condition, and it's a game that I've wanted for a while. Other way to do this is to do a barcode scan. So we're going to check on Gauntlet 7 Sorrows and do a quick barcode scan. I paid $10, and it is showing that the price charting complete in box price is $10.58. So I paid pretty much right at price charting. Now what's cool is if you click on one of the price charting prices, it takes you to this screen. You click on the little link next to price charting, and it will actually take you to the price charting website. So actually, the app hasn't quite updated because the price complete is around $12. So I got a pretty good deal on that one. In addition to that, you can also do filters if you need to narrow down your search. So let's say I only punch in Gauntlet. I'm going to change the filter to PlayStation and PlayStation 2, and then I'm going to punch in Gauntlet, and it's going to pull up every Gauntlet game on the PS2. So we have Gauntlet Dark Legacy and Gauntlet 7 Sorrows. So that is just another way to be able to find the game you're looking for. It is that easy to check price charting prices using the Goodiez app. So it can be a great tool for you to use when you are out and about game hunting. And then we have the Super Nintendo. Now I got a comment on how amazing this looks. This looks fantastic. I've never seen a game store display their cartridges in this way before. I think it's a fantastic way to display them. It's really easy to see all the games. It's really easy to browse everything, and I almost don't want to like pick one up because I don't want to mess up the perfect spacing. So I'm really excited about this section, and let me explain why. So I have been going a little hard on Game Boy Color games lately because the Mod Retro Chromatic came out recently, and it's just got me just obsessed with playing Game Boy and Game Boy Color games again. So definitely eyeballing a few games here that I want to buy, but I really like the 3D printed stands here to display the games. That looks really nice.
Thanks. Yeah, Joe recently got a 3D printer for Christmas, so he's been
Nice.
testing out a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, these turned out great, so we're definitely gonna have more of those. That still printing, still working on. But.
Yeah. All right, so now we get to the really good stuff.
Real good stuff.
We got that glass case with all the expensive games, and then a lot of really good stuff in the back there too. So anything like anything in particular in the glass cases you want to point out?
I got the Mighty Final Fight the other day.
Oh, nice.
That's one that you don't see a whole lot.
That's a clean Bucky O'Hare too.
Yeah, it's super nice. We got kind of some cool like obscure NES games like that Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that before actually.
Like harder to find ones, Terra Cresta.
Terra Cresta, yeah.
I got a pretty decent NES buy. Like it was right before Christmas, so I've sold a lot of the stuff that was in it. But he had a lot of kind of harder to find stuff. So a lot of my NES guys going for full sets like snatched.
Oh yeah. That's the end of the store tour, but the video's not over yet because now I'm going to go around and try to find some stuff to buy and support my friend Sam's business, give her some of my money, and add some stuff to the collection at the same time. Now, if you guys are in the Fort Walton Beach area and you haven't checked out RadJunk, you got to come check it out. Awesome game store. And then, you know, hang out in the store during the day, buy a few things, and then later on at night, go to the Rad Bar, play some arcades, have a few drinks, and then come back in November for
Really Rad Weekend,
which is one of my favorite conventions. It is. If you guys have been to a lot of conventions and you've never been to Really Rad Weekend, it's a totally different vibe. If you stay on the island resort right where the convention is, everything's just right there, and it's just really chill. It's a really chill vibe. I like it a lot. All right, so like I told you earlier, collecting really heavily for the Game Boy Color, and I'm only buying games that I want to play.
That's good.
Yeah, and there's a couple of games here that I definitely want to grab. So I want to get Earthworm Jim because I've always wanted to play the Game Boy version of that game. And then 007, The World Is Not Enough, which I think is a hidden gem. Hey, you know what? I'm going to take a chance on Disney's Tarzan. It's probably pretty cheap, and who knows, maybe it's a fun little 2D platformer or something. Of course, I'm going for a complete PS2 set. I'm going to grab a few PS2 games. There's some good PS2 titles here for good prices, so a couple that caught my eye. And I'm going to grab a few games that I actually want to play. You know, eventually I'll have to buy games I don't want to play too, but Gauntlet 7 Sorrows looks pretty badass. $10 complete. Really good condition, and this game can be played co-op with 2 players, which is fantastic, so I'm gonna grab that. And then Jet Li's Rise to Honor. This game, from what I understand, is supposed to be pretty fun. It's like a third-person shooter, and it's got the slow-mo bullet cam mechanic to it, so I'm gonna grab that. And then a game that Chris actually pointed out that looks like a pretty fun little puzzle game, Pipe Mania. It's one of those little, pipe laying games. That does not sound right, Jesus. Where you rotate the pipe and you move the pipes around to try to get the water to flow through, in the right way. But 300 levels across 5 game modes. Sounds like there's a lot of content coming over here to PS4 and the PS5 games. There is a PS5 game here that I cannot leave without, and it is one of my favorite games I've played in quite some time. Originally came out on the PS4, Xbox One. This is the PS5 version of A Plague Tale: Innocence. If you guys have never played any of the Plague Tale games, it is a narrative-driven action-adventure game. Really dark story, but it's a fantastic story. There's 2 games in the series. It's a duology, so you have to play through both games to get the complete story. But the story is absolutely fantastic, and the graphics are beautiful. All right, so the best salesman in the game store, Jay, sold me this awesome Legend of Zelda lo-fi soundtrack. Pretty cool.